This plane behind me, in and of itself, proves that the Earth is flat. Well, this is a Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. Its top speed is 2,200 miles per hour. Also, the SR-71 can fly at altitudes above 80,000 feet. If the Lockheed can fly over 2,000 miles per hour, how much curvature should it count for to stay at the same altitude? Again, to make sure we're all on the same page, its top speed is 2,200 miles per hour. Let's just say there's 2,200 miles between point A and point B. That means that there would be 570 miles of curvature drop between the 2 points of reference. That means the Lockheed would be dipping down 9.5 miles per minute, or 836 feet per second. I don't think y'all caught that. 836 feet per second. But let's just see what NASA has to think about planes flying over the Earth. This is NASA's document 1207 called Derivation and Definition of a Linear Aircraft Model. This report documents a derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Wait, what? Flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth? As well as a helicopter, a mathematical model of a CH-53 helicopter. The helicopter equations of motions are given in body axis with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. Seriously guys, it's right in your face. But there's only one problem with that. Why assume any planet, let alone Earth, to be flat and non-rotating? Think about it. And they tell us we live on this ball, spinning, processing through space. Do you not realize that they love to put the truth in TV shows and movies? Well, watch this.
Man, that's the best idea since they faked the moon landing. Okay, cut.
What are they trying to tell y'all?
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
Right in y'all's face. But the more you look into this moon landing, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, remember the moon rock they gave the Dutch Prime Minister in 1969? Well, it turned out to be fake. Petrified wood. Ever wonder why all the astronauts have their name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I think we know why.
How fast does the Earth rotate the equator in your model? How fast in miles per hour?
In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing. We don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
At the equator, the Earth is moving at about 1,000 miles per hour.
In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing. We don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
Because right now, here in New York, you can calculate at our latitude, we are all moving with the Earth at 800 miles an hour.
In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing. We don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
We know the circumference of the Earth is 40,075 kilometers. Divide 23.93 hours into the circumference, and you get 1,675 kilometers per hour, or 465 meters per second.
In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing. We don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
The circumference around the equator is about 24,900 miles. And we know it rotates once every 24 hours. So you just divide 24 into 24,900. It comes out to 1,037 miles an hour.
In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing, we don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
Since the circumference of the Earth is roughly 25,000 miles, and it takes 24 hours for one day to happen, 25,000 divided by 24 is roughly 1,000.
1,041 miles per hour. In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing, we don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
So the equator is about 25,000 miles around, and it takes 24 hours for one full rotation.
Okay.
So if you divide those two numbers, you get approximately 1,000 miles an hour.
In miles per hour? Well, here's the thing. We don't measure rotation in miles per hour.
As the Earth rotates, the equator is going the fastest. You're going about 1,000 miles an hour.
You know, everybody deep down knows that we are not moving. In order to believe in a globe, you have to be indoctrinated by people who say that they're smarter than you, make up math equations, and use pseudoscience. It goes against all of our senses and observable evidence. And people will name call and get angry and because they think that they're smarter than we are. You're just fighting against your senses. You're fighting against what's actually true because most people can't accept the fact that they've been lied to about a lot of things. Because we have an enemy who hates God and God's creation, which is us. So I'm the wrong person to be mad at.
Every time we see further than the curvature of the Earth should allow, they call it a mirage. Yet the long-distance observations we make are never floating like a real mirage. It's always right where it would be if the Earth were flat. It's no coincidence that the limit of our human eye is about 3 miles away, which is the exact amount of distance to the horizon. This is a form of math magic, so the limit of human vision has disguised itself as curvature. They would call this the curvature of the Earth, but the truth is the vanishing point is due to convergence. So everything below your eye level and everything above your eye level will meet as you go further away. Imagine this to be a cylinder rolling inward and this to be a cylinder rolling inward. The further things get away, they roll into this apparent horizon. Refractions such as inferior and superior mirages have also been doctored up to be curvature as well. So in this photograph, what we're experiencing is refraction in the bending of light causing this bridge to look like it is bent. They'll call this the curvature of the Earth. Then they will call this refraction. They're saying that the reason you can see all the way to the end of this bridge is because of refraction. But the photograph they're calling Earth curvature is actually the refraction. You can actually see the light bending here. But this is crisp and clear with no obscurity and at a lower perspective. You can recreate the optical phenomenon of boats disappearing bottom up just by zooming out. You can watch the boat disappear bottom up, and then when you flip it around and zoom back in, you can see it reappear top down. That's because of the convergence. Remember, it kind of rolls in itself. They love calling the limits of our vision and refraction curvature, and they love calling long distance flat observations refraction. Like the Walter Bislin Earth curve calculator with the little refraction slider where you can make any observation possible with refraction. But that's mathemagics for you, like the heliosorcery model, the reverse engineered of the geocentric. You know, as long as they account mathematically, they can do anything they want with this model. Tomorrow you could wake up and they'd say, oh, we were wrong about the sun. It's actually 40 million miles closer than we thought and a bit smaller than we thought. And you wouldn't know the difference as long as they accounted mathematically for it. That's what they do.
This right here is the free energy technology that our ancient world used to use. You will see this technology on old buildings all around the world. Here is another example. This is harnessing energy from the ether. So all these old buildings will have an antenna at the top which harnesses the energy from the ether and brings it into the resonator, which is filled with mercury. When mercury spins, it creates a current. You can even find this technology in your hometown. This is in Hamilton, Ontario, where I live. And this is exactly what our ancient world used to look like. There was no wires, just the antenna and the amplifier. You'll see light bulbs there as well. Now check this video out.
Right now I'm about 30 feet in the air. I have the wire marked every 10 feet. I'm currently at 24, 27 volts.
So he's measuring the voltage that is in the air at 30 feet right now. When he starts pulling it down, the voltage will come down, as you can see.
Here's what happens when I start pulling it down.
Pulling it down right now. The voltage meter goes down. This is the exact technology that Tesla had rediscovered when he built his Tesla tower. He used this to harness the energy from the ether, and then it would be distributed to the people for free. Great Tartaria was one of the greatest civilizations that ever existed, and they wiped it from the history books because they did not want you to figure out the free energy technology that these people used. Everything's been wiped from our history books that actually happened, and they rewrote the history books to make you a slave. On the flip side, human consciousness is ascending. This technology is coming back to light. People are becoming more and more aware that we have been lied to about everything our whole entire lives. Humanity will rise up and we will eliminate the parasites that attempt to control this world. Peace and love.
So my last video was not shown very much. I was showing NASA documents talking about a flat, non-rotating Earth, and it was violated for dangerous activity. Okay, anyways, we're not moving. If you believe in a globe, you believe this. Did you know that you believe this? This is what they say we're doing. Yet we feel none of it. God even tells us that we are built on a firm foundation. We cannot be moved. How is this happening? Think logically about this for a second. Get rid of the cognitive dissonance, all of the indoctrination you call education. Have a great day.
This is how we supposedly move. The Earth moves through the solar system like this. It corkscrews all over the place. Just around and around, corkscrewing. So the Earth, just for people that aren't sure, the Earth, because this is all stuff I had to learn along the way, right? So the Earth, it moves 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, spinning around in a circle. 1,000 miles an hour, okay? Around. Then it is also circling around the sun 66,600 miles an hour around the sun. And the sun is corkscrewing around the galaxy 500,000 miles an hour. If that's the case, then how come you can see the North Star every single night in the same exact location? It never moves. It's been there for thousands of years. It doesn't make any sense. If we were moving like that, you would never see the same star in the same spot every single night over and over and over and over again. And this is why I highly recommend people start looking into the stars a little bit more, specifically the North Star. Specifically, the North Star, the Pole Star, okay? It has a few different names, and it never moves. So there are places that, like the Georgia Guidestones, this was a place that used to exist. It was knocked down, and people don't really know why. I know why, because it was proof that the Earth is not spinning around in circles. Where there was a tiny little hole drilled into this rock. Look at this rock. This tiny little hole. And every single night you could look through this hole and you would see the North Star. It was right in the middle of this hole. Every night. You could stand there and you could put your eye up to the hole and you could look all night until it became light again and you would see the North Star. How is that possible if we're spinning and spinning every single night? The Earth is never in the same location more than once because it's constantly moving? Because that's a lie. None of that's happening. And it can be provable like a million different ways. One good way is start to learn more about the North Star. You can pick up some books and start to read and start to learn. I have hundreds of books I can recommend.
Check out Urbano Monte's 10-foot planisphere of 1587. Look at all these creatures, man. We're going to check this out right here. Look at that. Yes, this was in 1587, you know, and what is that thing, dude? Whoa. Let me get out of y'all's way. I mean, this thing, dude, I mean, it's 10 foot long. They just put it together for the first time, they were saying. And, yeah, I haven't actually looked at all of it yet. This is the first time I just screen recorded. I'm going back and looking. That's crazy, man. There's so many mysteries about the world. And, you know, a lot of y'all go, oh, it's just fiction. Yeah. I know it's fiction. I get it, man. I get it. Uh-oh. Looks more like a flatosphere to me. Huh. Illumination system including a virtual light source patent. Don't forget the date, 1966. Here you go, fact checkers. July 6, 1971, look. NASA-owned U.S. patent, okay? Illumination system, including a virtual light source. Now, this is not freaking huge or anything, okay? This is in 1966. This is smaller scale. Then they're just showing basically how it goes and everything like that, you know what I mean? Making the little hexagonal shapes for sure. Present invention was developed in connection with the Sun Simulator System for use with outer space environmental test chamber. And y'all screenshot that. Here's one from 1996. Compact solar simulator with a small substance, angle, and control magnification optics. They're like, these are smaller scales, so fact checkers don't say I'm taking things out of context or blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to show y'all this. It's very easy. I mean, you can just literally go to Google. I mean, because we all trust Google, right? Don't forget, we went here in 1969. You know what I'm saying? That was like 3 years later, so.
So you guys really still think we went to the moon? So, besides the obvious, like that, let's talk about this company, ZFX, real quick. Pause to read. This company comes up with green screens and harnesses to record, flying around or maybe bouncing on the moon. And guess who happens to be a customer? Now, sure, they could just be purchasing it to, simulate being on the moon. But if you start looking into it, there's a few other things that are a little interesting. Now let's go back to this picture for a moment. Is there anything you guys notice? Like, I don't know, the lawn chair with duct tape? Or the fact that it doesn't appear that it could fold at all? Because NASA's claiming that somehow that was folded inside of here. I'll show you. The lunar rover nearly folded up inside the lunar lander during trips to the moon. Once on the moon's surface, it unfolded with the help of springs. You can go look all this up. Take a look again. Now, I would love to believe that we've been to the moon. It's pretty cool, actually. But you see pictures like this, and it makes you start to wonder. According to Google, NASA is struggling to go to the moon. Over the past decade, NASA has spent roughly $90 billion on the Artemis program. Naturally, with less money going to a new moon landing, we're likely to make slower progress, even the advancements in technology. So what's my point? Why would I be bringing all this up? Well, NASA plans to build a train track on the moon. But we haven't been back to the moon. Now, I'm not saying money laundering, but now as far as how much it's going to cost, I don't know, but I can tell you who plans on funding it. And I can tell you why they say they want to fund it. Now, I wasn't alive then, but if anybody was curious as to how much it actually cost to go to the moon, alright, sure, it's only $355 million in 1969. This is how much it would cost to go to the moon today. In conclusion, do any of us really know if we went? All I'm saying is some things, that math, well, that math just ain't mathin'.
96. It's a big boy. So I got two big guests. Big names, big bodies.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't even know if I introduce you to. You got Rampage the Legend Jackson here. You got Bradley. Meet me at 260 Martin.
How much you weigh right now?
Why people care if people believe in the earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah.
It does?
With the dome, the firmament, and everything.
Oh, that's news to me.
That's new. You never read the Bible?
No.
That's the problem.
That is a problem. That's why I go to hell.
So why do people get mad at people if they just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
But what were you gonna say about?
This is what changed me when I looked into emergency landings. Something simple as that. That's what changed me to go more to like, oh yeah. Then I went to the Bible and started reading with the Bible. You know, I used to be a Christian, so I was like, oh, I've read this stuff before, but you know, we think of it different. I went there. Now I look at the Old Testament like a history book, and so I went and read it and like a history book. I was like, oh, okay, it broke everything down for me. But if you look into whenever you have time, just look into emergency landings.
What do you mean by emergency landing?
Like when say somebody's flying from Asia coming to LA,
yeah,
and like if it's an emergency or something, and then see like the way they land, and then you gonna think like, wow, that's not an emergency land. They went all the way out the way, and then you got to break down why did they do that? Why they go all the way out the way, and they say it's an emergency landing. That's what changed my mind.
Why would they go all the way?
Exactly. That's his point.
Exactly.
But why would that prove that the Earth is flat if they go out of the way?
Because if it was an emergency, a real emergency, wouldn't you go somewhere closer?
When you go somewhere closer,
and not somewhere out of the way.
When we see the emergency landing on the globe, it don't make sense.
Oh, because it's like this.
Yeah, so it's like farther. It's farther away.
Yeah.
So common sense would tell me that we're being lied to about the geography of our things.
Why lie to us about the Earth being round, though?
That's the big question.
Don't waste any more time. Visit the links above now and order my book, 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Visit my online store now and order the new enhanced Gleason's Flat Earth map. This map used to be in every school and library in the nation before NASA was created in 1958, when the maps were ordered removed. Have your Gleason's map hanging on the wall in your house where no government can take it down. Here you see it hanging on a wall in the house of the late Charles K. Johnson. Here is a quote from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Order your map now.